Good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. I apologize that I haven't been making updates in the last few days. Caught a bug, so I've been a bit under the weather, and also working on taxes, which are a big mess, and we're building a greenhouse as well, so been pretty busy. As you can see, we are powering into new highs. We've been powering into new highs for quite some while. We're now at 44.16, and there's not too much end in sight. You can see a nice little V, actually a little W formation we made here. This was the S&P downgrade of outlook for the rating of the Treasury, which caused some interesting reactions. A lot of people are talking about black swan events. This may be one of them. Quite a number of people are looking for, I would say, catastrophic scenarios. Some are looking for martial law. Others are talking about a collapse by the fall. It seems that everybody's looking for a fairly catastrophic scenario to appear fairly soon. With the deteriorating budget situation and the escalating global violence and all kinds of environmental doom creeping down and scaring people, there's just a lot of people who are getting scared. And there's a lot of people, I'm getting a lot of emails and PMs and questions about the silver market and the price of silver and where it's going. And a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people are getting shaken out, but a lot of people seem to be talking that way. And so I wanted to do a little video here about the reasons why not to get shaken out of this market. It's an easy market to get shaken out of, and just want to encourage people to stay with the bull. So I want to look at a number of fundamental values. First of all, I wanted to look at the bull that we're riding here. This is a bucking bronco. One thing to note is that as you go high, note this guy's staying very tight here, but as you go high in the air, that's when you're most likely to be thrown off. When you come back down, you can tighten your grip, buy a little bit more silver, get a little bit more committed, but when it flies way up in the air like this, there's a chance that you could get thrown off. So you want to be committed, stay committed, or this bull's going to throw you. There's no question about that. So I want to look at some of the reasons why you need to stay committed to keep this bull from throwing you off, because it's going, as I said in any number of videos, it's going much higher than it is right now. Triple digits onto quadruple digits. We're going into the hundreds and then the thousands of dollars an ounce for silver. If you don't believe that, it's going to be difficult for you to ride this bull. You have to understand the reasons why it's going to those prices. You have to believe that it's going to those prices, or you will bail. And frankly, you really don't want to bail. It's not just a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not just a inflation play. It's not just a deflation play. It's a big-time security play. So I wanted to just examine some of the fundamentals, and I'm just going to bounce around between a few of these. First of all, I wanted to look at an article that was posted on Gold Eagle forum, and this guy is defending his original article that historically a day's wage was a silver dime. Now, he goes through a number of examples from the early America. I'm not going to read through all of this, and you can visit it for yourself. Some of this didn't apply in early America, although it seems that a day's wage could be roughly 5 to 7 silver dimes, but you have to remember there's a lot of complexity there. and it has to do with the Comstock lode came in 1850, and that really threw off the silver supply, and it also threw off the wage. So I'm going to link this article, go ahead and read it, but I just wanted to, rather than read the article to you, I wanted to examine it for myself and take a look and see what we can deduce. So let's just explore ourselves here. We're going to start off at Wikipedia, and many of you know that a common coin that was used in the Bible, that we actually are given a value in the Bible, but we're also given a value in Roman history, is the denarius. The denarius was a common coin in ancient Rome, and they exist today, so we can weigh them. We know, they exist. We can check and see how fine they are and what they weigh, and then we can get an idea of. And it says containing 10. The word denarius is derived from the Latin containing 10, as the value was 10 asses. So now we get a nice breakdown here of the Roman coinage. We find that 1 gold aureus equals 2 gold quinari, or 25 silver denarii, or 50 silver quinari, or 100 bronze sestertii, or 200 bronze dupondi, 400 copper, 800 copper, and 1600 copper. So it seems that the denarius was the most valuable of the silver coins. 25 of them made up the gold coin, but was that an ounce? And we'll see later that it wasn't. So let's look at some of the history of these coins. And this is a page called Buying Power of Ancient Coins. I'm going to link this to you. You can read this yourself. And we get some nice pictures and definitions. Very good page. And here's our gold aureus, a picture of Marcus Aurelius. It was worth about 25 silver denarii. And here's our Republican denarius of 137 BC. If you remember, Rome went through a significant long-term inflationary trend where the coins were diluted. So 137 BC is fairly early into the Roman Empire, before any of the significant, it's during the Republic. So the terrible inflation of the corrupt emperors had not occurred yet. Now, we find out here that this Roman denarius would have paid a legionary soldier for about 3 days and bought enough wheat to bake his daily bread for a month. So this coin, the denarius, was 3 days' wage or a month of bread. So now that gives you a pretty good idea of comparison, because you have to remember we're in a fiat world of worthless paper currencies. There's no way to know what they're worth in terms of each other. They're worthless, and silver suppressed in terms of those. So we need to do comparisons with real things. So here we have some real things you can wrap your hands around here. We've got enough wheat for a month, and we've got 3 days' wage. So now let's examine this coin, the denarius. And we find out that the Roman denarius is very similar to supposedly the Korean dong. Many of the Asian countries had a unit of gold that was a similar weight. It turns out that the weight of this denarius was 3.75 grams. So it's not a silver eagle we're talking about here. It's not a month's worth of bread for a silver eagle. It's not 3 days of pay for a silver eagle. No. It's for the denarius, and it's 3.75 grams. Now, let's do a little calculation here and find out grams per troy ounce. And we find out that 1 troy ounce is roughly 30 grams. And that coin was 3 point something grams, so roughly 10, maybe 9. So 9 or 10 of those goes into an ounce. So very similar to the dime, right? So we could safely say that this is effectively the silver dime. And you can see that it bought a month's worth of bread. Now, what is your silver dime worth today? I think a silver dime today, I think they're going at a roughly 20 to 1 face for the 90%. So $2, maybe $2 or $3 you can pick one up for, depending on how far we run here. So let's say $3 just to be generous. How much bread can you get for $3? Can you get a month's worth? Maybe a day. Turns out that it would be about 2 loaves, so I don't even think you get a day, maybe a half a day's worth of bread for this coin. So, and it's a month, so by that count, that's a real rough back of the matchbook count. I would say 60, by a factor of 60. The current price of silver is undervalued by a factor of 60, as calculated in bread, as calculated based on the denarii. So this price needs to go up 60-fold to be fairly valued as where it was, just all things being equal. And there's a lot of other things that are in this mix, such as the gold-silver ratio, the fact there's hardly any silver left above ground, the fact that almost all the silver is being used up. But either way, that gives us $2,400 an ounce silver. So now we can look at some others. Again, this article looked at 1844 and miners and a British pound. So calculating based on the British pound, dividing by 4.5 by 6 work days equals 75 cents, or about 7 dimes per day. So let's say that 7 dimes per day. Let's go by that one. That one's off for a lot of reasons, but let's just use it anyway. So let's say 7 dimes per day. We said $3 is the value of that dime, so $21 a day. That's the average wage. Now, what's the average wage today? Maybe $200 in an 8-hour day, if you make a decent wage, I suppose, something like that. So that's a factor of 10. And again, this is when the Comstock load had thrown silver completely out of whack. So there's a lot of these comparisons. I encourage you to go and look at them yourself. And I want you to remember that the price of silver is no reason to get thrown off of this bucking bull, because if you have 100 ounces of silver, if you have 1,000 ounces of silver, or 10,000 ounces of silver, you got to remember that your silver is going to be a month and a year and that type of value, which it's nowhere near now. So until we reach that point, you can't get thrown off this bull, because it's just going to turn around and it's going to take off without you. Because, as I said before, silver's not just going to triple digits, it's going to quadruple digits. And if you don't study up and understand the fundamentals of why it's going there, then you're going to get thrown off, and then you won't be there for the ride, and that would be a really bad thing. So we'll talk to you next time.